Let's see what we got, people. I'm still messing around with the functions on StreamYard, all of that, but oh well, at least you're not gonna crucify me for copyright. So I'm just gonna give everybody a little bit of a breakdown. Essentially, I tried to upload a video. It took me like 20 minutes to do, but yet for some screwed up reason, the audio didn't come through, and I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, great, thanks. But thankfully, I was going off of a script, and what happens? I just happened to save the draft I was going to publish. So essentially, if you're watching this right now, or if you're subscribed to me, whatever, you're gonna see this before I actually hit publish on this, probably at night, because all I gotta do is copy and paste it. But essentially, here's some stories. Juan, great seeing you. You're gonna love this one actually. So this is stories I've never actually released or hit publish on Wattpad. So the first one, Sakura from Naruto. So you're probably saying to yourself, the number one question is what time frame? There's Naruto, there's Shippuden, and then there's Boruto. Okay, so hear me out. Between Shippuden and Boruto, but that's where it becomes asinine, because her and Sasuke have a daughter, this and that, XYZ. How am I going to screw this up? How am I going to take a kid completely out of the timeline? See what I mean? That's the part there I'm just going to be like, yeah, what? So not only is like, do you have to look up through all of this evidence right here, but in actuality, I mean, think about it. An environment where she finds somebody else, and it kind of sounds really screwed up, where it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to put in a storyline where Hinata and everyone else is getting knocked up, and Sakura's like, just like as the Italian women say it, my fraternal time clock is ticking. I can't do this, Harvey. What do I do with that? You see, I thought about it, but the execution of me just wasn't comfortable enough for me to just say, boom, I like it. I never signed off on it. It stayed in the drafts, or I want to say, wow, a couple years now. I'm not sure if I'll ever get back to that one, but it's always lingered over my head. Now, these are not in order, so I'm just going to keep it rolling. Toka, the Date Alive. So you're probably thinking, why? Why her? Same thing is kind of like this. What if I told you that it's just one of those first girl syndromes? There's first girl syndrome, and then there's second girl syndrome. Whatever the case may be, this is one of the hardest to pull away the first girl away from the protagonist. I mean, really. Pulling Toka away from Shido? Try again. And even if I did, what do I put in place of that? How do I substitute it? And then afterwards, what are you missing? It's a 4-letter word. Say it with me. Plot. Next. Okay. So, this is an interesting one here. Mocha Akashiya. I had this in my draft as Nourish. So the outer mocha. And this also includes the inner mocha as well. The real mocha. So this is going to contain some spoilers, so just a heads up. You want to skip ahead the next 2 minutes or so? When you see this video over there? If not, cover the virgin ears. So, I did do an inner mocha 2-part series. Blood and Breath. Proud of it. Turned out well. So, there's a couple of things where I was just kind of thinking about it. And outside, if Kurama met Tsukune first, there's no good series. Let's be real. So Succubus trying to claim her boyfriend back every episode? To make it part of the harem? Yeah. Okay. Sure. So, I thought about, do I do the ritual again? As far as the part of Blood and Breath 1? Yeah, but I don't want to repeat that. feel like it would be a cop out. But it goes back into the manga where it's just like, if you want her, if you want to seduce her, you're gonna have to seduce me too. But how am I gonna do that without sloppy seconds or without the outer and the inner mochas getting into it? That part I don't know. But not for sloppy seconds. Not me. So if we go into, I got a couple more. Let's see. Icarus from Heaven's Lost Property. How do you separate her from Tomiki? I think I figured out how, but I just never got into it to draw everything out piece by piece. Maybe be a short story, but a wholesome one. So Icarus isn't great as far as emotional understanding. We know this. But can you work around that? So also the angeloids don't quote unquote sleep. But if you remember, Nymph knows how to rest, if that makes any sense. They know when to chill out. Astria did too, surprisingly, because she's the Bacchia. And one of the biggest ones. For real. It's like, what's 2 plus 2? Purple! Yeah, not even bullshitting you. That's canon, at least in the English dub. Or some math problem she answered with a color. My God. Back to it. What if there's a guy who's living with Tomiki and it's just like, hey, can we just rest? I play Little Spoon, you play Big Spoon. It's a comfort thing, and she grows attached to him. Could be. So, fun fact. I forgot who because I haven't talked to him in years. But there was an Astria story idea. I handed off to him, and it was Astria goes out with a guy who's a professional chef. He ends up knocking her up, and they have an angeloid baby. I remember liking the story. I remember laughing about it, having a good time. I forget his name, and I haven't talked to him in quite some amount of time. Probably forgot who I am, too, but oh well. And Nymph I had off to Anime Freak 1988 because he's a really big fan of Nymph. Is this doable? Yes. Have I put it off for years? Yes, and I'm sorry. I don't want to give false hope, but this is possible for me to make it. Okay, next. Oh, the second movie. I think the Angeloid movies are absolutely, excuse my language, they're fucking terrible. Moving on. Yukino from Fairy Tail. So if you remember, something happened during the guild games where, sorry, I don't know why there's this itch there, but she had to remove basically her tattoo in front of the whole guild. She was naked, all that, and she's packing her bags, crying, and Natsu catches her and is like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I'm kind of thinking to myself, what if I have my OC and he has his cat? I was thinking Gary, but I didn't want it to sound like SpongeBob for some odd reason. So I'm just kind of like Patrick, ironically. His cat's name is Patrick. So what happens when Natsu finds out that the Sabretooth Guild is treating Yukino like shit? He goes in there and he starts kicking ass like Roadhouse. It's like a big fire punch party. So I'm just kind of thinking to myself, okay, the OC and Natsu tell Happy and Patrick to go stay at the Fairy Tale Guild. And what do? Crack their knuckles, say, hold my beer, go in there. And they start kicking ass until someone finds Patrick and they got to get out. I think I figured out the first 2 or 3 chapters on how it goes on. And I really like Yukino as a character because she's on my personal waifu list. I think she's badass, cute. She's got this aggressive swagger. I think she's kind of hot. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Been needing to put this in for a while, but there's just so much on the list as is. And then I got 2 more. They're both from IS. Infant Stratos. Hey, Gaz, how we doing, brother? So here's ironically, Gaz is in here, so there's actually a story that involves him in here that's never been released. But first I'm going off with Charlotte Dumois. Now, I had it off to Omega Zero and Anime Freak 1988. I had to put their hands in a cookie jar, and they're like, hey, are you going to make one? I'm just like, I'm giving this to you guys. I don't want to steal any thunder here. So I did have a couple ideas for this, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, Italian guys, since the Italians and the French don't get along, since there's a conspiracy with Germany's IS, Could there be a German guy in there to take the public eye off Laura and Ichka and make a happy medium, or a Portuguese guy just to make something more well known and outside the Portuguese culture, outside a soccer player or fish on a stick? Not much well known about the culture. I just kind of thought, let's wing it. But anywho, so last one, and this is where Gaz comes in. Hey Regan, how we doing? This is where it comes in, where there's two stories in mind. Gaza and I were bantering about an Irishman with Cecilia Alcott from Infinite Stratos. And Gaz is making a phenomenal hokey story. There's a lot of banter involved. An Irishman dating Cecilia, it's just kind of like, women, this is complete shite. Can you make anything not in pie form? Or, you goddamn near kill me, lass. I don't know. I think it works. But in case there was another scenario, Joey Wheeler from the original Yu-Gi-Oh, where you watch it on 4Kids as a kid, and he's got this Brooklyn accent, where it's just like, can you just imagine, the dialogue is what makes it humorous. Hey, you telling me you call this a sandwich? Where'd you go to school, Miss Professional? Jeez, you're gonna argue pizza with me? Forget about it. I pledge allegiance to the food, and brain like hell won't kill me. I just think some of this shit could really be funny. I think there's hidden gems of comedy gold in there. Plain simple. But I mean, it's just you got the prude, the prideful, the modest, the snobby. But at the end of the day, could she be a passionate lover when she finds out she doesn't have to compete for it? Correct me if I'm wrong. You have Hokey, the tsundere that kind of puts things into place. Cecilia had a small window of opportunity, but as soon as Reen gets to the school, boom, opportunity, gone. Sent on a ship. Then Shar shows up, goes to live with him. Tanashi steals the thunder. Laura only tried to kiss him and make him the bride. I mean, for real. Second girl syndrome. Doreen from Shuffle, Kermu from Rosario Vampire, the list goes on. What happens with the second girl? Sometimes she's the most deserving. But what happens? Come on. You know how it is by now. Sometimes you just kind of go, you know what, Chica? You ain't it, Chief. It's simply it. So I'm glad this time the audio freaking works now. I had to do it live. I don't know why. And I'm glad that I started to get some background music in there just to make sure it doesn't dull it up. Thank God for StreamYard here. But it just is what is. So there's a lot more on my list. There's a lot more that I want to do. And there's a lot more debates that could happen on here because there's just a lot of stuff that could go on from here. I'm just happy that I've been able to do a couple of things from this point going forward because, I just got done doing a podcast myself, and I was just showing my co-host some of the crazy things going on. For instance, how I somehow got my hands on one of these. And somehow the photos on these are so goddamn inconsistent. If anyone wants to know what the hell this is StreamYard. They don't pay me. I paid an absurd amount of money to use this for a while, but well worth it. But I don't want to take any more of your time, guys. Thanks for everything. Appreciate it. So I'm going to go right from here. Got about another hour to kill before I hit the sack. There's snow tomorrow. So everybody, have a good night. Appreciate you all. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully keep doing this, and hopefully there's another chapter soon. I got to polish up a couple of things. Take it easy. Love you all. Be well.